What's happening, everybody? Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell. Now, it is official. The relationship between the Kobe Bryant estate and Nike has ended. It's over. It was a 5-year window after Kobe Bryant's retirement. That contract expired on April 13th, and it has been confirmed by Vanessa Bryant that Kobe Bryant's name is no longer associated with Nike. So for those of you like me who have pairs of Kobe's that are Nikes, hold on to those for dear pleasure. For treasure, because they could probably be worth a lot of money, because there will no longer be any more Kobe Bryant Nikes made, like ever. Like, it's done. No more shirts, no more apparel, no more shoes, no more nothing. Now, here's the reason why Kobe left Nike. The reason why Kobe Bryant left Nike is because he wasn't happy. Now, obviously, it's easy to associate Kobe and him and Nike having a great relationship now that he's gone and he tragically passed away at the beginning of 2020. But if you don't remember, for those of you, I got to refresh your mind. And for us Kobe Bryant fans, we know Kobe's shoes weren't at the top of the Nike priority list. Like, Kobe Bryant shoes in 2019 and 2018, for every year up until 2020, after he retired. So from 16 or 17 to 2020, Kobe Bryant was not at the top of the pecking order over at Nike. You have the Jordan brand, which is his own thing. It does gives major props. But then you had Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant, and Paul George, and then they were working on getting Giannis. Like, they had a lot of things that were above Kobe. Right? Like, they had a lot of projects, a lot of shoes, a lot of apparel that had to do with mainly their active NBA players above Kobe Bryant. And, that's Nike's prerogative, right? But Kobe Bryant was growing frustrated with Nike because, one, he hated the fact that his shoes weren't readily available in kid sizes. Well, the significance about that is that who wears a lot of kid sizes? Women. Younger women. They wear kid-size shoes, and his shoes weren't readily available in the little girls, for the little girls to be able to get in the kid sizes. Obviously, Kobe has deep ties and deep connections to girls basketball, so he had a problem with that. He also had a problem that his shoes weren't readily available in larger supplies, right? We know Kobe's and LeBron's and all these top shoes a lot of times sell out. Well, Kobe wasn't a fan of less supply that makes the demand greater. No, he wanted to allow everybody who wanted a pair of Kobe's to be able to get a pair of Kobe's. That was his whole mantra. So I remember I did a video that he was planning to leave Nike before his tragic passing and start his own sneaker company and his own brand, as far as in the apparel sneaker company that would have rivaled Nike and that would have employed players, and he would have had signature athletes, just like how Jordan brand has signature athletes with Zion and Luka, and Nike has signature athletes with LeBron Jameses and Kyrie Irvings and Kevin Durant. Kobe was going to have signature athletes, but the caveat to his company was that if you signed with the Mamba brand, you actually owned a percentage of the Mamba brand. It wasn't like, I pay you a check. No, you're actually a company owner, not just an employee. That is where he was going to change the apparel game, because every person, every teen, every hooper that signed with Team Mamba or the Mamba brand would have been an owner, would have been in the shareholder, would have had say in the company. Now, obviously, he probably would have been very selective on who he would have allowed access to be a part of this project. But if you were selected, you would have ownership. That would have changed the sneaker game completely, because we talk all the time about generational wealth. We talk all the time about being an employer, not an employee. We talk all the time about how you're able to actually garner some sort of money, like real wealth. Not just having a job, not just working for somebody else, not just making another man rich. Now, obviously, these are NBA players, so the figures and the numbers are already there. But at some point, your NBA career is going to end. And so that endorsement deal that you have with Nike will probably end when that ends. So the way to continue your wealth is to own something. And Kobe Bryant understood this. That's why he had books. That's why he was making short stories. That's why he was winning Oscars. That's why he had a gym. That's why, Kobe Bryant was in everything. So don't get it twisted about Kobe and his next venture outside. He was into the crazy thing about Kobe, he was into everything except NBA basketball. He did his 20 years and he was out. He would go to a few games, but he was really into women's basketball. He was at college games, high school games, WNBA games. He obviously wrote his books. He had a short story that won an Oscar. But he was into everything except for NBA basketball. Yeah, he's like, I did 20 years of that. I'm good on that. Now I'm going to raise my family, and I'm going to do a lot of things inside the women's sports. And his next venture that he was going to tackle, and everything that he's done has succeeded, right? Like he's had, 5, 6 books. They've all bestsellers, even before he tragically passed away. So his next venture was going to be the apparel and the athletic spot, and to take on Nike, and to take on Jordan, and to take on Adidas, and to take on, you know what I mean? Like he was going to do that. And he was going to be successful because he's been successful in every single thing he's put his mind to. He wanted to be a basketball player. He was one of the greatest basketball players to ever walk the planet. He wanted to be an author. He's a New York Times bestseller 5, 6 times over. He wanted to be make a short story, a little animated film. He wins an Oscar. He wanted to coach his daughter's basketball team. She was one of the best players at her position at her age. He wanted to do all these things and he succeeded. So his next venture was going to be taking on the athletics apparel industry, something that black people just aren't in. You got Adidas, you got Puma, Nike, all Under Armour. Ain't no black CEOs at these companies. Ain't no black founders at any of these companies. So Kobe Bryant was going to take that next step to make Mamba the next Adidas or Nike or Puma or Under Armour. And he was going to be successful. And his family, Vanessa, his wife, knowing that, decided, okay, we're done with Nike, because Kobe was done with Nike. And it just would be superficial. It just would not be real. It just would be super fake if I continued this relationship with Nike monetarily, because all it would be was a monetarily for both. It would work for both camps because they'd make a lot of money now that Kobe and Gigi and all those people tragically passed away. It would work really well monetarily. But she understands that her husband didn't want to continue on with Nike, so therefore she's not going to continue on with Nike. And I think she is going to create that. Now, it will never be what it would have been with Kobe here, but I think she is going to do something in that apparel space with the Mamba brand, because guess what? Kobe Bryant owns all of his signage and signatures. Anything that was on a Kobe Bryant shoe with Nike, Kobe's estate, therefore his wife, Vanessa, owns. So the stealth that was on the shoes, on the tongue of the shoes, the Kobe Bryant signature that was on the back of the shoes, they own that. So they're able to put that on future apparel. And I can't wait to see what they do with it. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss channel in Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe to the channel.